Hi, I'm David Blackmore. Today, I'm going to talk about what it means to be a creative artist, of how to live and work on your own terms, on your creativity, with your own mind, with your own ideas. I'm going to be talking about some of the major things that contribute to our success. There's going to be 16 different points that I'm going to be talking about. But first of all, I want to talk about why this is so important at this time in our history of the world and what's going on in the economy, and how good the timing is for anybody who wants to be an artist in any field, whether it's the visual arts, whether it's music, whether it's writing, whether it's dance, whether it's any type of creativity. And it's vast. Even businesses, creative, starting new businesses, it all requires the same approach. And there are certain things that you can do that will contribute to that success. First thing that you have to remember is that when you're a creative artist, you've got no boss. You've got nobody telling you what to do. You've got nobody to answer to. You don't have employees that work for you, but still you have to collaborate with other people. You have to sell your products, sell yourself. All these things are very important. And what I'm going to be doing over the next while is I'm going to be talking about some of the keys to making yourself successful as a creative artist. First of all, I want to talk about having a purpose. When you don't have a defined purpose in your life, it can be a very confusing situation and you're going to waste a lot of time. So you want to spend a little bit of time working on that. You know, like I grew up in Regent Park. I failed at a lot of things, and you have to understand that the failures are what contribute to your success. It's the going out and seeking things and trying new things is what leads you to your success. And so I'm going to encourage you to not be afraid of failure, but to not take extreme risks where you put your life on the line or do stupid things that cost you major amounts of money down the road. The other is about destructive thinking and how that takes hold of us and prevents us from reaching our goals. It's that idea when we're thinking about what other people are thinking, when we're thinking about our own thoughts. We say, I can't do that, and we have to be very, very careful about what we're thinking. And sometimes we're not even conscious of that. We've got that thing going on in the back of our mind. And usually most people fail because of their own self-negative, destructive thinking. Low productivity. When we're an artist, what we do is we can get into situations where we're not productive, where we're not giving out our fullest of what we're capable of doing. And there's a whole host of reasons behind that, and that is a lot of distractions, a lot of taking time and being persistent and using your mind in focused ways. You have to be flexible. When you have a fixed mindset, you're locked into a certain way. You don't see all the possibilities. You have to be able to see all the possibilities and bring them together, because that's what creative people do. They take things that seem to be not related and then pull them together and create something. You've got to take care of your body. The body, the mind, they're all connected. And you need to exercise, you need to take care of your nutrition, you've got to avoid alcohol and avoid drugs. You have to be able to have a clear mind and focus, because you need all that energy, and that energy is going to come from like I say, nutrition and exercising, and there's some mental exercises you can do as well that give you energy. Not asking the right questions. If you ask the wrong questions, you're going to get those answers. So if you ask the right questions, they will come to you. I guarantee you, if you can think long enough about a question that you have, you ask the right people, you Google it, you do everything you can to find that answer, you will find it. But you want to ask the right questions. You don't want to ask the wrong questions. We'll talk about that in one of our sessions. Poor presentation skills. Let's face it, when you're an artist, you're presenting yourself all the time. And so how you dress, how you communicate, your eye contact, just the way that you can capture people's attention, do it in succinct ways. We'll talk more in depth about presentation skills, but that can really make or break you. Mistaking IQ for EQ. That's IQ as opposed to emotional intelligence. IQ, you can be very smart, you can be a genius in fact, but if you don't have the emotional attention, that's empathy to others, understanding other people's positions, being sensitive, you will have a lot of trouble connecting with people and getting things done. And I think a lot of it comes from understanding yourself first, and then you'll understand better. But emotional intelligence is just as important. So don't mistake it. You can be a great mathematician, you can be a great physicist, but if you don't have the people skills, if you don't have the ability to relate with people, you'll never get a project off the ground. Poor self-image. Our self-image determines all kinds of things. If we don't believe in ourselves, in our own image, in what we do, it's very, very hard for somebody else to believe in us. So we have to start from there. And poor self-image can be very destructive and a non-starter. So we'll talk about self-image as we go on in our series. Not enough thinking. Think about that. What happens is people are obsessed with doing, and not really thinking about why they're doing things, how it connects to their major goals. So the idea of thinking and taking the time to going through a process of thinking is what we're going to talk about. And it is a process. It's not just about doing nothing. It's about using your brain and your thinking faculty and skills to contribute to your creativity, your energy, and everything you do. And that's a very important component. Daily rituals, especially when you don't have the structure of a job, you got nobody telling you to do anything, you don't have a desk, you could be working from any place. Now with all the internet, with your iPhone, with all these tools, they allow you to work in very unusual places, especially being an artist. If you're into film, you're going to be on different locations, maybe even in different countries, different mediums. So you want to develop a sense of rituals right from the moment you get up in the morning to you get up at night. Obviously, schedules and things are going to somewhat impact on your rituals, but if you have a daily ritual, just the simple things of 3 meals a day, getting up in the morning, going through planning for your day. We're going to talk more about types of rituals and how they can really help you get focused and keep you on a path so that you're developing every day. Stress. Stress is a big thing, and it is, as we know, it's one of the modern day sicknesses that contribute so much to low productivity and people getting physically ill as well. The mental, once again, it's directly connected to your physical being. We're going to talk about the different types of stresses, how to handle them, how to use the stress. And not all stress is bad. There are good stresses and there are bad stresses, and you have to understand your own capacity for stress and how to use that stress to propel you, and how to de-stress and look for ways to help yourself manage stress so it doesn't paralyze you. Few relationships. If it's very important to have relationships. I'm not talking just about a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, father, daughter, all that kind of stuff. Those are very important relationships, but you got to have friends. You got to have people that you can speak to, that have your self-interest in mind. You want to have a network of people that you can talk to, and you want to be able to give that back as too. It's not a one-way street. You can't just expect a friend to give every time you want it. You have to be prepared to be there for that friend too. So relationships, and there's different levels of relationships, as we know, everything from Facebook to, you know, talking to people on the phone, emailing, having access to people, having a mentor. These are some things we're going to talk about, relationships and how they expand our horizon and enable us to be creative and get our projects off the ground. Lack of persistence. If you are not persistent in what you do, obviously you will not make it. Sometimes there are going to be times when you're going to find that you think you're at a dead end, but what's happening in it is that you may need to pause, you may need to relook at something, you may need to change. But the idea of persistence is that you got to be committed to something to carry it through. And sometimes you'll get to a point where you say, what was I doing spending all my time doing this? It's happened to me so many times. I get to a point and I go, geez, if only I would have known. But you know, I remain persistent and I go, that's okay. You know, I would have never found that out if I didn't pursue that idea of being persistent. The next thing we're going to talk about is money obsession. When you're obsessed with money, you lose the goal. Money is there to help you, enable you to do things. It's a very important component, don't get me wrong. But when you come totally obsessed with money, you're going to find that you are going to lose something along the way if that becomes your major obsession. And like I say, there's nothing wrong with money. In fact, it's a great thing to have, and the more successful you are, the more it will come to you. But if you think you're going to find happiness and fulfillment through money alone, you're going to find, and studies tell this, and I'm going to talk about these studies, that it's not true at all. In fact, people with a lot of money, in a lot of cases, that just strictly do things for the money are not very happy at all. And we're going to talk about that in our future sessions. And the last session we're going to be talking about is focusing on our strengths. So that is going to be an important aspect, is that sometimes we think because our weaknesses are what we think that are holding us back, and then we try to build and focus on our weaknesses. But if we understand what they are, you know, I'm not saying that we avoid things that we're not good enough and not build our skills, but I'm saying that if you've got tremendous strengths in areas, whether you're a great musician or you have angles in a film, you'll look at some of the great film directors and producers and musicians. They focus on what they do well. It doesn't mean they're not involved in other aspects of their creative process, of their businesses or what have you, but they are focused on what they do best. So I'm just going to summarize what we're going to be talking about over the next sessions. We're going to talk about developing a clear purpose. We're going to talk about developing positive thinking. We're going to talk about improving productivity. We're going to talk about having a flexible mindset. We're going to talk about increasing your energy. We're going to talk about asking the right questions, improving your presentation skills, developing your emotional intelligence, improving your self-image, thinking more before we do things, daily rituals that will help us, how to manage stress and reduce it, how to improve our relationships, expand our relationships, how to be more persistent in everything that we do, how to make money without being obsessed with it, and then focusing on our strengths. Thank you. I look forward to our future sessions.